Hi, I'm Jimmy. In this video, we're looking at Netflix, ticker symbol NFLX. So, Netflix's stock over the past year, when we look at this chart here, well, we can see Netflix's stock is down about 40%. So the question is, what happened? And is Netflix a good investment today? Okay, now for anybody who doesn't know, Netflix is a global streaming service. They're really the global streaming service. They've recently crossed 325 million subscribers, and they're the dominant player in the entire industry. Now, one interesting note about that is recently, Netflix has come out and said that they're only going to report how many subscribers they have once a year. They used to do it quarterly. They also said that they're not going to report as often, only once a year. They're going to report the average watch time of their individual subscribers. One of the issues with this is that if you've been watching Netflix, or if it's a stock you've invested in or been considering investing in up to this point, subscriber growth has been one of the main things people have watched. They reported it almost every quarter. They were reporting it every quarter before, and it's been one of the main things. And in fact, this is a chart of Netflix's subscribers going back to 2007. And we can see that they have gradually ramped up subscribers every year. So the fact that recently they started to pull back off of, hey, we're going to keep reporting this as kind of the guidepost to whether or not they're being successful, I think freaked out a lot of investors. That partially explains some of the pullback in the stock. Now, I would point out that back in 2007, well, back then, the 7.5 or so million subscribers that they have at that time were mostly receiving DVDs by mail. So a lot has changed since then. And I'm sort of jumping the line here and going a little bit ahead, but I was curious how their subscribers have stacked up to some of their premium competitors. And premium competitor or not, Warner Brothers Discovery, this is the purple bars here. And you can see that Warner Brothers Discovery is growing. It is ramping up. That giant jump that they had is basically when AT&T spun off Warner Brothers, combined it with Discovery, so they had a big jump in numbers at that point. But you can see that they're really nowhere near Netflix. Well, when we swap that out, instead we compare it to Disney Plus. Well, Disney Plus has its own problems. We should probably do a video on Disney. I'll do one coming up soon. But Disney was ramping up, and they actually looked like they were going to catch Netflix for a little bit there, for a hot second, and then that tapered off because of some of Disney's own problems. We'll get into that in a different video. Either way, Netflix has continued to be the dominant player in the industry. So now this brings us to, how does Netflix make money? Now, basically, you sign up for a monthly subscription. Now, they have recently introduced ad-supported subscriptions. So in theory, you pay a lower cost, but then you have to watch some ads. Now, ads generated about $1.5 billion last year. Analysts and management have come out and said that it's expected to be about $3 billion this year in 2026. So a doubling of ad revenue, but that's still kind of in the early phases. Relative to their overall revenue, it's not that big of a number, at least not yet. Then on the membership side, on the subscription side, the non-advertising subscription side, those prices have actually been being pushed up recently. Now, Netflix has actually gotten away with this because churn, basically how many subscribers they lose each month, churn has been relatively low for this company. They've been probably the premium, the go-to streaming service that most people have around the world. This is a premium service, and they've increased their prices a few times. So basically what they do is they charge their subscribers this monthly fee. People pay up front. And then they take that money and turn it into content, essentially, or improve their platform. But essentially, they turn it into content, with the idea being that that content can then be leveraged, whether it's watched by 1 million people or 10 million people. 10 million is obviously better for them, but it doesn't cost them any additional money to make that content. So the idea being that it's a fairly leverageable business. But of course, the downside to that is, as subscription costs go up, well, you're likely at some point you're going to bump up against where it becomes too expensive and people start canceling. So Netflix is very aware of that. They've introduced ad-supported subscriptions, things like that. That being said, let's jump over and look at revenue. So on the Investors Grow website, by the way, we're doing the entire analysis on the Investors Grow website. On the Investors Grow website, we got a chart of revenue here. So this chart goes back the past 10 years, and you can see in the most recent year, they put up about $48 billion in revenue. By the way, that puts the $1.5 or so billion in advertising revenue to scale a little bit. Now we can see exactly how much revenue they're doing relative to their advertising revenue. So although it is nice for the company to offer the ad-supported subscriptions, it is still relatively small compared to the overall revenue. More impressively here is the growth. Don't forget, with all of this growth, the stock is down 40% over the past year. One of the reasons why is really the rate at which this growth is growing. Take a peek at our revenue growth chart. Revenue growth was sky high a decade ago and is tapered off. Now, it recovered a little bit and then tapered off again over the past 12 months. It's not doing terribly good. It is still growing. It's just not growing as fast. Then when we jump over and look at profit, well, profit, net income, same thing. Profit has gone up a lot over the past few years. It has really picked up speed. In fact, if we look at our net income margins, basically how many dollars if you earn $100 in revenue, how much of that converts into profit? And we can see that net income margins have consistently gone up. That's impressive. And this speaks to the whole scalability of their business. Going back to the example that I used before, where it cost them X number of millions of dollars to make a show, and then 10 million people watch it or 100 million people watch it. Well, it doesn't cost any additional money to make. You already made the show. Because of that, in theory, profit margins could continue to grow. Now, eventually, they will hit a cap because these shows are expensive to make. As many of you have seen, I'm sure, on Netflix, there's a lot of big shows coming out. A lot of these shows, in fact, there's about $25 billion in expected outflows in show expenses, in creating show and movie expenses. There's a whole bunch of money expected to flow out over the next few years, but they have done a very impressive job of improving profit. Again, I'd point out this stock is down 40% over the past year. Management said that they expect net income profit margins to hit almost 32% this year in 2026. Okay, now, some of the other things that they're doing to try to spur additional growth, try to get new signups, is they've recently gone into sports. They've gone into live entertainment. I've seen different boxing events and things like that. And over the past few years, some of their biggest sign-up days have been on days where they're offering some of these unique events. Netflix is also pushing into a video game platform that they're trying to use to help, bring in more customers as well. So the competitors that they're facing aren't just companies like Disney Plus, or Disney owns Hulu, or Warner Brothers Discovery, which we looked at before, but it's also platforms like YouTube or even social media. Pretty much anything that people are using or spending their free time on, well, Netflix is sort of competing with all of that. But they do have enormous scale, and that scale is a very difficult thing for companies to copy. That scale allows them to build out their technology and to kind of expand their presence around the world and offer advertisements on a global scale. They can do a lot that other companies can't do because they can spread out the cost of a lot of the technology that it takes to build their platform amongst 325 million subscribers. And they've done a very good job of doing that. Now, that has led to, as we saw, an increase in revenue, an increase in profit, and also an increase in free cash flow. And this brings us to the primary reason that I believe Netflix fell, but ultimately it could be a good thing. So, on the Investors Grow website, we have this discounted free cash flow calculator. This chart here shows the blue numbers are historical numbers, and we can see over the past few years, 4 years in particular, they have generated positive free cash flow. Analysts, the green bars, are what analysts expect to happen. Well, the interesting part here is right now the stock is about fairly valued. Now, you could argue that if we were to project out a bit further, go out, let's say, another 5 years, if I project out a bit further, well, the stock looks like it could be undervalued. But here's why I think that the stock got beat up as much as it did. And for that, one, discounted cash flow could be undervalued. That looks decent. Two, when we jump over and look at price to earnings, take a peek at this chart. This is a 10-year chart. So we can see what price to earnings has been over the past decade for Netflix. Now, interestingly, right now it looks like it's relatively undervalued compared to its own history. The issue that I have is look at how high the PE ratio was just a couple of years ago. I mean, you're talking 50, 100 times profit. This company was priced for massive growth and absolutely perfect execution. So the problem with that is the moment the company's growth starts to slow a bit, we saw revenue growth, although they're still growing, growth has declined a bit. Although, growth in subscribers has continued to go up, the growth rate has declined a bit. And because of that, the stock sees a massive pullback. I think that this is one of the more valuable lessons with investing in general, is that I have found on a personal basis that where investors oftentimes get hurt is when they overpay for a stock. If we paid for this stock just a couple of years ago when it had 200, earnings per share was 200x, or price to earnings was 200x, sorry, not earnings per share. Price to earnings was 200x. Well, we need everything to go perfectly for this to play out well. If not, if things start to slow down a bit, and as the industry gets more mature, growth is going to slow down. There's only so many people out there that are even interested in this type of thing. So eventually you're going to hit some sort of ceiling. And as Netflix is shifting their business away from, hey, look at how fast our subscriber growth is growing, and more for how can they monetize it and how can they, get better content, whether that be live entertainment or video games or, having the Super Bowl on there or something like that. Outside of them doing that, which will bring in some subscribers, now you're talking about them increasing prices and, or increasing advertisements, things like that. That becomes a little tougher to maintain customers at that point. So my point is that I think that a lot of the massive pullback that we've seen in the stock has happened because the stock was simply valued too much. It was overpriced before. And I think it's much closer now to being maybe not undervalued, but I think it's much closer to being fairly valued right now. So for me, on a personal basis, I plan on adding Netflix to my bullpen, and I'm going to sit there and watch it and see where it plays out. I do think it's interesting what they're doing, that they're not going to show as many numbers, and they're only going to show them once a year, and they're trying to focus on profit and growth and revenue and things like that, and not necessarily subscriber count or watch time hours, things like that. They're going to show us those numbers less often, which I think the market doesn't really like. But at some point, Netflix is going to turn around, I think, from a stock perspective. I do not believe that this stock is going to keep falling and go down to zero. The underlying numbers are simply too good for that to happen. So I do think that this is a real interesting opportunity right here. I just want to see a little bit more of a pullback before I consider jumping in and buying this one. But I am going to add it to my bullpen. So if it does drop another 10, 15%, I might jump in and buy it there. But let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you want to sign up to get access to the Investors Grow website, where we try to make it quicker and easy to analyze companies, leave a link right here, link in the description below. And thank you so much for sticking with me all the way to the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.